We all know the story of how Titanfall went from being a pretty alright multiplayer shooter with mechs and shit to having one of the best glow-ups in gaming history with the sequel, with an even better multiplayer and one of the greatest single-player shooter campaigns of the generation. Personally, I've always loved the series and everything about it. Ever since that moment I saw it at E3, Titanfall and Sunset Overdrive were the only games this generation that made me jealous of not having an Xbox One at the time. I would go to this really cool arcade place where they had gaming PCs and Xboxes, and Titanfall was always the game I would go to first. And when Titanfall 2 came out, man, what a fucking amazing game it was. Multiplayer was even better and the campaign was fire, and was just the greatest example of the perfect video game sequel in history, honestly. Then Apex came out and instantly became one of my favorite battle royales in the game right now, and finally made me enjoy battle royales because of its movement options, character abilities, and all its weapons were fire. That said, you read the title and just listened to me fanboy about the series, so you know what the fuck is about to happen. I want to pitch my idea for Titanfall 3. This one's going to be pretty short. Actually, I don't know. I'll go on for hours if it takes, but depending on how, I'm going to try to go through things pretty fast and loose, because it's only a few things I really want to change, just slight additions and stuff, and direction for the story. Disclaimer, I am not a story writer or like a professional story writer or an expert on the world of Titanfall, or a game developer in that case that knows how to make games and how they work. These are just really cool ideas that I want to put out there, and honestly I think that'd be pretty fire if I saw them in the sequel, so let's just get into it, I guess. Kicking off the story, we are still Cooper. He had just recently found out that BT's AI is still intact, so he ventures off to a pretty broken down Titan factory / facility. And you might ask, why not one that's already functioning? Well, because for some reason the core doesn't allow Cooper to reinitialize BT because they had already given him a new Titan AI. And also because this factory was one where BT came from. Not this one specifically, but it was the type of factory his models basically came from. And this factory specifically is one of few that has the reinitialization program that is made for BT models. I don't know how Titan models work, honestly, but I felt like this is a pretty good way of seeing how BT and Cooper can reunite. So yeah. Plus, it's a good way of introducing a newer conflict. Titans. You see, since Cooper is basically a pilot now, like a full real-life pilot now, not an acting pilot, the core gave him a new Titan. And he basically just steals his Titan to get onto the factory and use it to help him find the program. Let's call this Titan ZK. However, since he doesn't really want this Titan specifically, he kind of wants to keep him in the dark about why they are there. So this Titan obviously is going to keep questioning Cooper about why they are there, but Cooper just shuts him down. ZK basically figures out what is going on as soon as Cooper reinitializes BT and gives him a new body. And because of that, ZK retaliates. Cooper tries to fight off ZK and tries to lure him away while BT's new body is being built. BT saves him and they manage to escape on his train transport at the factory and head into the wilderness. From this point on, BT and Cooper are trying to get back onto Cooper's ship, but it is destroyed, and then start looking for ways to signal the core for extraction. They fight through the planet's creatures, explore the open areas of the wilderness, abandoned outposts, and even derelict Titan battlefields that you see, giving you lore on what happened here while looking for ways to re-establish a connection to the core. You eventually get a signal and transports do come, however they get shot down by ZK, and he is now upgraded with parts that you found in the factory. Now, this is something that I thought of would be really cool throughout the campaign. Having an enemy like this that is constantly changing and adapting to the player in order to challenge the player and have a more consistent and prominent foe throughout your journey. Each encounter you have with ZK will have different movement abilities, weapons, defenses, and strategies in order for each encounter with him to feel fresh and different, and having you experiment with different ways of taking out ZK. That out of the way, the story is about what you might expect. And in order for me not to continue to ramble on, here's the gist. Cooper and BT are trying to escape from this planet that is outside the Frontier's control. This was a world that was left behind due to the war and even more sinister things that Coop and BT slowly start to figure out, while also trying to figure out why ZK went rogue so fast and trying to get the core to help them. While also, ZK is contacting mercenaries and accessing resources in order to kill Coop and BT. Coop, BT, and the core also start to figure out why ZK went rogue and having this whole subplot having to do with that. Some whole type of weird ass espionage spy stuff that is happening in the background, and there's a traitor in the core that kind of put in this corrupted AI core that was able to be triggered, and yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's this whole thing, and I don't know, it sounds really cool. It sounds really cool, and I think it's gonna be for me, that sounds like a really interesting story and motivation for like this villain that we're gonna basically have. You'll see Coop and BT exploring both linear and open areas like the derelict ships, bases, and even cities, as well as forests and mountains on this planet. Yeah, I know that's a lot, but that's pretty much it. That's where I like to see the story going, and it'd be very interesting to see, and could make for pretty interesting gameplay changes. That said, Titanfall 2 was praised for its various unique level gimmicks, I guess, so I'd like to suggest a few here. First off, we need to have a grappling hook level, man. Like, damn, this is like the best thing from Titanfall 2. So yeah, we got to have like some sort of grappling hook level, and maybe mix it in with some jump pads like an Apex. But yeah, get that shit in here. Portals would be cool too, not like a portal gun, more like a portal switch, kind of like the switch you had from Titanfall 2 with the time travel level. Push a button, you switch. So it'd be pretty cool. You're like zooming through these levels, and you activate it, opens a portal, goes through, it launches you somewhere, and you gotta time it with the other portal that's coming through. I mean, like a rotating thing that has a portal in there. You gotta time yourself going inside that portal. The possibilities are endless for the portal thing, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Hacking would also be cool. You being able to quickly hack into robots like an Infinite Warfare that could help you clear rooms or explore new areas. This could also open the possibility to remote Titan control. So you have these side-to-side puzzles where you go back and forth from BT and to the Coop. It could be kind of like the puzzle rooms from Portal 2. Also, having side-to-side puzzle rooms would be really interesting and really cool. And those are just a few things that I could actually think of and that could be pretty interesting. Feel free in the comments below to suggest more cool gimmicks that you'd like to see in the single player. And that being said, that kind of wraps up the single player type thing section of the video. I want to talk about smaller gameplay tweaks and additions. So without further ado, let's talk about that. Weapon attachment switching on the fly would be really cool, honestly. I'm gonna talk about like how it would be in the single player. You'd be able to find attachments throughout the game, throughout like missions and stuff. Since there's gonna be open areas, you can explore around. You can find like scopes, barrels, stocks, and stuff like that that can improve the guns that you have. And then having that being on the fly, attachment switching like in Crisis or games like that, that'd be really cool and a really cool idea. Titanfall and Apex has always had really cool attachments, so plus it'd be really cool to add in the hop-ups from Apex. I didn't think about this, isn't in the script. I'm just thinking about this right now. Having different hop-ups, changing between your guns, not just like the Skull Piercer or the Disruptor rounds, but like other really cool ones that could really change up the game. Having some enemies be vulnerable to Disruptor rounds, and you have to switch to that, and have other enemies be vulnerable to the hammer points. That's a cool idea, having you switch from weapon to weapon. That encourages experimentation and encourages you using different types of guns. So yeah. Another tweak or addition, I actually want to add more Titan movement options, longer dashes or even slides. Slams would be pretty cool. Climbing on buildings would be awesome, like you're climbing like King Kong. That'd be pretty cool. More Titan moves / abilities, like the option to be able to be launched by your Titan that's either stationary or when you land on him, you hop off a wall, your Titan is right there in front of you, you land on him and you press a button and he'll just launch you further. Like just having that continued sense of momentum, that'd be super cool. Instead of having to go inside him, he could just launch you, like if you go under him, he'll slide you over. That'd be awesome. Honestly, thinking about it now even more, that'd be so cool. Core switching, so you can go from like your Scorch core to your Ion core. That's more on the fly. I know you could do that in the single player in Titanfall 2, but I'm talking about like on the fly, like press a button, boom, switch to the next core. I don't want you to have like all the cores being able to switch into them. More like pick two of them, and you can switch from 2 cores. That'd be pretty cool. And have those be used by a meter that's filled up instead of having to do it like in Titanfall 2. And that's pretty much it. Most of the stuff is obviously going to be in the multiplayer section, and I'll get more into that in that section. But yeah, this and the stuff I've mentioned so far is pretty much the core single player experience that I want. And with that out of the way, let's talk about the multiplayer. Woo! So let's be real. Titanfall 2 multiplayer was pretty much flawless. Let's not joke right now. With no microtransactions, great gameplay modes, amazing customization and progression. So basically this section is mainly just small tweaks, newer modes, and newer additions. There's nothing huge I want to change, nothing huge I want to add. Actually, there's one. Fuck it, let's get into it. The biggest thing I've thought of was an overhaul on the factions. You see, in Titanfall 2, you were able to choose a faction you want to affiliate yourself with. You level up through that faction alongside your regular progression, and you get exclusive rewards through that. I thought that was really cool, but we can make it better, especially with this game. Starting off the bat, all factions are available. You don't have to get to a certain level to join a faction. All of them are available. However, you're only allowed to choose one in the beginning. If you want to change factions in the future, you can by purchasing a faction transfer token or pass or whatever. Don't worry, it's not like a huge amount of money that you need to spend or a huge amount of grinding. It's just a certain fee not to encourage you to not hop from faction to faction to faction and kind of commit to one and, you know, be loyal and commit to the faction that you chose. And even if you change factions, the progression that you had from the past faction will always be there. So if you go back, you want to do that. But it's so that early in your multiplayer experience, you devote yourself to a faction. And if you want to like 100% everything, yeah, you can do other factions and do all their progression. That'd be pretty cool. Now that you've chosen your faction, not only do you gain your own personal progression that, you know, gets your guns, your abilities, your perks, whatever, you also get your faction loyalty XP that gets you cosmetics, cool banners, cool calling cards, and all that. You're also building towards faction total control XP, progression that all players in the faction are building towards, competing against other factions. Each week or two or so, that seems like a good time frame, the progression will reset. And the faction with the most XP during that 2 week or week period will be rewarded special cosmetics. There will also be modes specifically for factions that give you more of a boost in like faction XP, you know? Doing specific faction versus faction modes, that would be pretty awesome. Or having like a four team faction war in like a big map, and like, oh my god, the possibilities would be endless. But yeah, having modes that are specific to this faction versus this faction, or having 4 factions against each other in one game, all of that building more XP, and at the end of the 2 week period, you get these cool rewards, these cool cosmetics, these cool calling cards, skins, and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much the main big thing I would like to see added. So yeah, let's just talk about the smaller things I want that would be pretty cool added. Starting off with the Titans, like I said before, dual cores would be awesome. Equipping like a perk or a core that allows you to do these core switches mid-game. Obviously, you can't switch cores constantly. In order to balance it out, you have a pretty long charge up, and even then, when you do activate it, it does take up a couple seconds. It's like a charge up, so you need to change it. Just to encourage you, you're not constantly changing, and there's not some bullshit ass moves that like is gonna be pretty unfair. More additions, like I said before, are like more movement options. Like I said before, more Titan types would be awesome. I know that's pretty much inevitable, but some cool ideas I had for Titan types were like a chain melee type. He has like 2 chains and 2 chains. He has 2 chains and he's whipping them around, just slashing at other Titans, fucking cutting up pilots on the ground. That'd be so cool. You like whip onto someone. It's like Roadhog from Overwatch. You could like pull yourself towards one and like punch them or something. That'd be so cool. Another cool type would be a dual pistols, a dual wielding gunslinger type. That'd be awesome. And more. Those are just 2 ideas I had. Suggest your own. That'd be awesome. But yeah, and please give us like 2 or 3 maps where everything is like destructible, where I could just like just ram into a building, bust in like the Kool-Aid man, and just like fuck some Titans up. That'd be fire. I'd buy it instantly if that was the case. Instantly, no question. I play those maps all the time. It'd be like its own little mode, like fucking, let's call it demo derby or whatever. It's this whole map. You can structure it from that level in Titanfall 2, where it's like the prefabricated areas, like the maps, and like you just can get in your Titan and go ham. Just break shit, blow shit up, bust through walls, fight other people. It'd be so cool. Pilot wise, honestly, keep it the same. Add more tactical abilities and movement gadgets, more weapons, I guess, but for the most part, all the guns are perfect. And yeah, honestly, keep it the same. All the guns and the abilities are perfect. Maybe allow for more player customization, like helmets, bodies, arms, and legs, and that'd be pretty cool, like having a robot arm and then having robot legs, or having like a different type of arm, and like it'd just be cool, just like an armor system that could, like, you could change, like in Halo. That'd be pretty cool. And that could even add for more cosmetic possibilities that you could earn with the whole faction thing. Perfect circle right there. I had it planned all along. I had it planned all along. Modes. Keep them all, I guess. Yeah, just like keep them all. Titanfall 2 had all the modes anyone could ever ask for. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know how it's gonna work really. Maybe add like 2v2s from Modern Warfare. That'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, Titanfall 2 only suffers from the lack of players, but all the modes were pretty much fire. There's a mode or 2 that like no one really played, but like for the most part, all the modes are fire. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be one of the shorter videos. Yeah, I know there's frontier defense or whatever, and like smaller stuff I could have missed. But like, the main 2 things I want to talk about is single player and multiplayer. Let me know what you think. What would you want to add or change? I'm no game developer or huge story writer teller. I wish, but as of right now, I'm just a broke college student that really likes Titanfall. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next time.